Okay. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the August 5th, 2025 meeting of the Chatham Select Board. Please note that this meeting is being recorded and will be available shortly hereafter for scheduled and on-demand viewing on any smartphone or tablet device. If anyone else is recording the meeting, please notify the chair. Seeing none, pursuant to Governor Healy's March 28th, 2025 signing of Chapter 2 of the Acts of 2025 extending certain COVID-19 measures adopted during the state of emergency, suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law, Massachusetts General Laws, Chapter 30A, Section 20, until June 30th, 2027, this meeting of the Chatham Select Board is being conducted in person and via remote participation. Every effort will be made to ensure that the public can adequately access the proceedings as provided for in the order. A reminder that persons who would like to listen to this meeting while in progress may do so by calling the phone number 1-508-945-4410, conference ID 203-386-491#, or join the meeting online via Microsoft Teams through the link in the posted agenda. While this is a live broadcast and simulcast on Chatham TV, Xfinity Channel 1072, despite our best efforts, we may not be able to provide real-time access. We will post a record of this meeting on the town's website as soon as possible. The first item of business is to establish a quorum. Ms. Davis.
Present.
Mr. Dykens.
Present.
Mr. Metters.
Present.
Mr. Smith.
Present.
And the chair is present, so we have a unanimous quorum. We will have initially several public hearings, and then we will proceed to the usual items on our agenda. And I will outline the business agenda later. So our administrative assistant is available remotely. Our town manager is here as well. First, we have a section on public announcements and agenda item requests. The caption for the public announcements and agenda item requests was inadvertently omitted from the agenda as posted, but I am going to entertain these now, per usual, as required by two board policies, and I have confirmed with town council that it is okay to do so. So first, I have a number of announcements that I want to make, and then I will proceed with my colleagues on the board and then from the public. First, I want to acknowledge the passing of a former firefighter who served for 11 years in our department here, Jerry Moore. He also served on the Parks and Recreation Commission. He was an EMT and very much involved in service to the community. He had a landscaping business, and I know others on this board knew him. I did not know him myself, but our thoughts go out to him, to his family and friends, and I ask you to acknowledge him in your thoughts. Thank you. Secondly, I do want to announce that I've called a special meeting of the Select Board next week, August the 12th, at 5:00 p.m. in this room, to hold a public hearing to consider adopting higher water rates and stiffer fines for unmetered irrigation water use. Following that meeting, which I hope and expect will conclude sometime after 5:00, the annual summer town meeting that is being programmed by the Summer Residents Advisory Committee will take place in this room. Next, I want to acknowledge that at the regular board meeting on August 19th, we will be taking up Mr. Smith's requested agenda item to discuss the residential tax exemption. Apropos of the subject of tax relief, I am planning to place on the agenda sometime in September, probably in the latter part of the month, an agenda item request by Select Board Member Dykens on the subject of real estate tax relief opportunities. We hope to have a presentation from the assessing department, and I will include on that same agenda some specific proposals as requested by former Select Board member Seth Taylor. Additionally, we have established a tax assistance committee at our most recent meeting, and we are accepting applications from those who would like to serve on it. We have 3 public positions, and those applications are due on the 15th of this month. We will conduct some interviews for that committee at our August 19th meeting, and once all the interviews have been concluded, assuming we do or don't get additional applications, we will then proceed to fill those positions. I would like to do them in one fell swoop at one meeting. And finally, with respect to tonight's agenda, agenda item 3, Roman numeral 3C, which is to consider entering into the Commonwealth Site Readiness Program Technical Assistance Grant Agreement relative to the housing and affordable and attainable housing development at Meeting House Road. I will entertain contemporaneous public comment on that particular agenda item. With that said, I think I've covered everything. I will ask if any other board members have any agenda item requests or announcements. Mr. Metters.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Basically, I usually give a big outreach for public participation on our boards and committees, but I want to do a highlight of 2 particular committees. One, Conservation Commission. I spoke with the chair recently, and just to see how things were going, what can I do? Find me members. Find me associate members. Associate members serve 1-year terms. It's a great opportunity to learn the process, get involved with, I'm going to say minimal participation, but you do participate. You sit at the meetings, you do the research. So if there's anyone interested in serving on the Conservation Commission, the chair and myself would be very grateful for those to step forward, fill out a talent form. We'll have a very straightforward interview process, and we'd be more than happy to fill those open seats on the Conservation Commission. The second committee I want to just kind of highlight is our Independence Day Parade Committee. As you could tell from July 4th last year, or this year, we had quite a event. Quite a few people were in town. There's a lot of planning that goes into this, and one of our members has decided to step down, so there is at least one opening. With the committee, if there is a greater interest, we could always up the membership if necessary, but I'm calling out anyone who would be willing to serve in the one open seat, and if there's others out there, then we could entertain, other options for expansion of the committee. But, it is almost a year away, but there is a lot of planning involved, so if anyone is willing to serve, please consider putting your name forward to the town, and we will interview you. So, thank you very much.
Anything else from the board? Mr. Smith.
Sure, thank you. There's a few things I'd like to ask for to be placed on an agenda. One is the expired town council contract. I think you and I chatted about that, and how we might move forward in obtaining a town council. Number 2, I'd like to chat about returning to a regular schedule on or about September 9th, as opposed to waiting till October 15th. I think there's a lot of things in front of us that I'm not sure are getting the correct amount of attention, and so that'd be one thing I'd like to chat about.
Okay.
And I don't expect that these will happen.
You're probably not going to get a whole lot of support on that one, but we'll put that on for sometime this month so that you'll have an opportunity to talk about it.
Sure. The third thing is a public select board public policy discussion on the Main Street Affordable Housing Trust housing project, and the fourth thing is to reaffirm the 4-7 of the town charter and the discussion surrounding that issue.
What is that? What is
on the 4-7 is the authority under the town manager for the hiring of personnel contracts, union contracts.
Okay. I just want to return to the third one. Could you just repeat what you said?
Yeah,
Public discussion, I think you said.
A select board policy directive on the Main Street Affordable Housing Trust project.
Okay. Do we have enough information from that to know how to place that? Do we need to get a little more, flesh it out a little bit more, what you'd like to, on that third.
Number 4?
Item number 3, I mean, the housing project.
Yeah, okay.
What are you looking, I just wanted to know how to frame this.
Well, as you know, the Select Board appoints the Affordable Housing Trust folks.
Yeah.
And to my knowledge, unless I'm mistaken, there's been no general policy discussion on guiding that process, concerns that the neighbors may have, and the board's position on that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Anything else from the board? Anything from the public? Mr. Levitt.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm Rick Levitt, 31 Barnhill Road. I have an agenda item request tonight. Currently, the town is considering 2 affordable housing projects under the state's zoning law. It will be helpful for those of us supportive of the Affordable Housing Initiative if that law, the state law, is clarified. My agenda item request is discuss legal issues with respect to affordable housing regarding range of action available to the Zoning Board of Appeals, Planning Board, and the Select Board under Massachusetts General Laws, Chapter 40B. I'll leave a copy of this request with you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Levitt. And I'm familiar with it because we've had some conversation about it. It is my intention to put that on for the 19th of August. The request, go ahead, thank you. The request is, as I view it, as a generic request. We will have, thank you, we will have the availability of town council that night. We will focus on the legal issues that you have raised. It will not be specific to any particular application before the zoning board. Thank you. Anything else? Nicole Stern, is that you?
Yes. Good evening. I'm Nicole Stern. My public announcement is also a reminder that next Tuesday in this room, there is a public hearing on irrigation rates and fines at 5 p.m. That's August 9th at 5 p.m. This is an important meeting to attend if you pay a water bill, because for over 3.5 years, somewhere between 700 and 1,500 other water customers who have irrigation systems using town water have not installed the mandated second meter and have not paid the higher rate for that service. So the rest of us subsidize them. This is not equitable. Please come to the meeting and encourage our select board to take immediate action. No more warnings and delay in levying fines. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Ms. Stern. It is, the meeting is on August 12th. I think you said the 9th by mistake. But thank you.
Sorry.
That's going to take place. It's been published in the newspaper. Thanks very much. Anyone else, either in the audience or online? I see nobody. Thank you. So our next item on the agenda are 3 public hearings. The first has to do with NSTAR Electric Company, and I'll ask the board's clerk, Mr. Smith, to read the public hearing notice, and we will open the public hearing.
Town of Chatham Select Board Public Hearing Notice. The Chatham Select Board will hold a public hearing at 5 p.m. on Tuesday, August 5th, 2025, in the large meeting room at the Town Office Annex, 261 George Ryder Road, Chatham, Mass., and remotely via Microsoft Teams platform to consider the petition for NSTAR Electric Company, DBA, Eversource Energy to install 50 feet plus or minus 1 to 3 inch of conduit and one handhold 57 HA10 for new underground service to the customer located at 161 Queen Anne Road. The public is welcome to attend the meeting in person and participate via link in the meeting's posted agenda.
Thank you. Marissa Jackson, I see you're online. Do you want to take this on? Welcome.
Yes, thank you very much. Marissa Jackson again with Eversource. So what we're proposing this afternoon is the install again of one handhole. Our starting point would be at an existing pole along the roadway. It's 57/10. From there, the handhole, and then approximately 50 feet of 1 3-inch conduit, and that would go to a customer installed handhole to provide underground service to our customer at 161 Old Queen Anne. And that being said, I'd be happy to address any questions if there are any.
Thank you. Before we get into questions from the board, we did receive a communication from the Director of Public Works. I will read it. It's very short. I have received notice of the public hearing to be held on August 5th, 2025 regarding Enstar Electric Company doing business as Eversource Energy, requesting to install one new handhole and a plus or minus 50 feet of conduit to a customer at 161 Old Queen Anne Road. Old Queen Anne Road is a town road and was last paved in 2021 when the new granite curb and sidewalk was installed. Since it has been fewer than 5 years since Old Queen Anne Road was last paved, the Department of Public Works requests that non-destructive methods be used to install the conduit using trenchless technology / directional drilling to prevent damage to the road and sidewalk. So I read that because I wanted to ask, is that the approach that the electric company is going to take?
It certainly is. I was able to confirm with our contractor that it will be bore under the road for you.
Okay, thank you. Rob, did you have anything you wanted to add? Thank you. Any questions or comments from the board? Anything from the public? Hearing none. Is there a motion?
Move approval, Mr. Chairman.
Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. We'll call the roll. Ms. Davis.
Aye.
Mr. Dykens.
Aye.
Mr. Smith.
Aye.
Mr. Metters.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. So thank you. It's granted. Next is.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Next is a public hearing to consider placement of 2 temporary speed bumps on Kent Place from the Traffic Safety Committee, and I'll ask the clerk to read the public hearing notice and open the public hearing.
Town of Chatham Select Board Public Hearing. The Chatham Select Board will hold a public hearing on Tuesday, August 5th, 2025 at 5 p.m. in the large meeting room at the Town Office Annex, 261 George Ryder Road, to consider placing 2 temporary speed bumps on Kent Place during peak times, May through October, placed at the discretion of the Department of Public Works. All interested parties are encouraged to participate in person or remotely via the link on the posted agenda.
Thank you. So the Chair of the Traffic Safety Committee, Joan Craig, will present. Joan, welcome.
Thank you. Good evening. Thank you all. After several meetings and discussions with residents of Kent Place, the Traffic Safety Committee voted 4-0 to recommend 2 temporary speed bumps, as mentioned, on Kent Place. From May to October, placement at the discretion of the DPW Director. With the stipulation that we reassess the speed bumps, we said in the spring of 2026, but I know that if this should pass, that may have to be extended. The Traffic Safety Committee feels this is a unique situation, one that should not, quote, set a precedent, unquote, in town. This has been something that our committee has been dealing with since 2022, trying to work with our committee, with DPW, with the police department, and with the residents. It's a very difficult situation. It's one that we normally say no to because we're not in favor of speed bumps or speed humps per se. However, this is, as you well know, a path going into town for which a number of individuals walk, ride, take carriages, wagons, trucks, SUVs, deliveries of all types, day and night, We feel that it is a situation that is dangerous. We've been torn about this. The DPW director and our liaison, the deputy chief of police, have done yeoman's work, both individually and together with our committee and with me as we've walked the area continuously. They've taken measurements. They've discussed it with us. They've done extra work on this. And I know it's not favorable by a number of individuals. However, we're bringing this before you because we feel, based on all the other ideas that have come before us or have been suggested by some of us at our meetings since 2022, this is what we're presenting.
Thank you. I do have some thoughts on this, but I'll defer them until after I hear from other board members or from the public. Does any board member want to speak at this time? Shireen, you were first.
Yeah, thank you, Joan. Just can you explain to the public how the assessment process is going to work, or the reassessment of the bumps? I mean, what are some of the things that you'll be assessing?
What we're assessing?
Or the police department is?
I think you would have to defer to them. We're looking at something similar to what you might see at the beaches that have those temporary bumps that are put in place and then taken up. They have the yellow stripe on them. There would most likely have to be a sign that mentions to individuals coming into the road that there is speed bumps. Anything else, I would defer to the appropriate.
Yeah, I'd like to know how you're going to assess it, because, I mean, it's, you're not going to have cameras and things like that.
Chief
but-
Malzone, do you want to?
Yeah, thanks. Thanks.
Good evening, Lou Malzone, Deputy Chief of Police. I'll do my best to answer that question. Unfortunately, the last bit of data I have from Kent Place is from last Labor Day. I had an older piece of equipment out all this week, and unfortunately, it didn't collect the data we were hoping it did. There's a lot of volume on Kent Place. There's a lot of traffic volume, which I think is really the main issue. Last Labor Day weekend, we had it out for 4 days, and it counted 861 vehicles. So it is quite a cut through. I don't, based on data, only data, that speed is necessarily the issue on Kent Place. I think the max speed that we had recorded last Labor Day weekend was 28 miles an hour, and the average speed was 16 miles an hour. Again, I think it's volume. And, to answer your question on how are we going to tell if it works, I think we'd, be at the defer to the residents who are there to, ask them if they've seen improvement. Maybe the speed bumps will slow the cars down, but it's a very narrow road. And I think, I try to avoid it. I think two-way traffic on that road is just tough. So I don't know the solution, but the residents of Kent Place have come before the board several times. I've been at several of the meetings, so.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I just wanted, if just the value of it to like either affirm or not affirm,
Right.
The next decision-making process. But clearly, it's not a very safe road. It's, there's multiple users. It's virtually a one-way, one-lane road, or should be. But yeah, I can support this. Yeah.
Corey?
Well, you answered my first question, because I was asking about signs, that would either slow or bump or some kind of notification, I think would have to be required. So you've already answered that question. And I guess my second thought was going to be, is it speed versus volume? If the volume is the biggest issue, then the bumps, I guess, what is the thought process of the bumps remedying some of this? Because bumps are usually meant for speed, slowing people down. Volume, a bump isn't, at least in my interpretation of how functionality is. Can you convince me how that's going to solve a volume issue?
Right. Do you want to take a second?
I'm not sure it will. However, we know that it is a pathway, and I use that term loosely, but it used to be a pathway. We feel because there are children going in and out of that area. If you remember, we have an ice cream shop there. We have people walking from Oyster Pond to come that way and walking downtown. We have SUVs, we have vans. I think the biggest thing is the safety of everyone. We have a sign, is it 15 miles?
10.
And a sign, and it's a recommendation, 10 miles per hour. It's not necessarily the speed, it is the volume that we're looking at, and it's the volume of bikes, pedestrians, kids on bikes, wagons, trucks, cars, people.
Anybody else? Corey, and then Jeff.
Corey just spoke.
I'm sorry, Stuart, then Jeff. Sorry, Paul.
Sure. You had mentioned in your opening statements that there were some folks who may not be in support of this. Have you heard from them, or what was their opposition?
I personally have not, and at the meetings that we've had since 2022, it's because the people that bring it before us are in favor of doing something. We have looked at one-way. We have looked at the possibility, and it's not a possibility, of closing off the other end, the dead end, because we don't own that area. We've looked at a number of different issues. We've looked at also, and I don't know if it might happen in the future, considering deliveries at a certain time. I know that was also brought up in the paper recently. That's something that we have discussed. So we've looked every which way at what can be done.
Sure.
I know Rob is here, Faley, and I know he's not in favor of any kind of speed bumps, and we're very much aware of that, and he can speak to that. We just feel that this particular place, and for those who might be listening or in the audience that don't know where it is behind our public lot and goes out to Cross Street. And it is a cut-through. It's a cut-through for everybody going both ways. And that's what's so tough, because it is, as mentioned earlier, it is really not a two-way street. But
Yeah, I kind of share Corey's questions about speed bumps are meant to slow people down, and this is a volume issue, so I don't know how effective it'll be, but I appreciate you. Thank you.
thank you.
Jeff.
Joan, thank you. Deputy Chief Malzo, thank you. Given that we've heard that is a volume issue, I guess, Joni, why did you guys not recommend one way? And my pea brain, I'd have it one way coming from the parking lot to Cross Street, because it's such a narrow road. I think that's more my answer than speed bumps. to be honest.
I think I can talk about some of the discussion. I can't speak for the committee, but I think the thoughts was that making it a one-way would then open up the town hall parking lot to be more of a roadway than a parking lot, having to come through the parking lot to get down Kent Place. And I think also it's at the top of Kent Place where the sign shop is. I believe that lot, part of that lot there is private. So it would then be, bringing cars across private property to get down a one-way. And I don't think it was, and also people that live at the top of Kent Place would have to change their routes. So I just didn't think that the committee thought it was a feasible solution.
I would agree with that, and the other piece to that is it would mean more traffic going on to Cross Street if in fact that was the most logical way to do it, whereas, now we have at least the chance that it goes on Cross or on Main, so that was another issue.
Huh, well, okay. I mean, I'm not unwilling to try speed bumps. I don't like them in general, and you guys don't either.
Right.
But if the road's so narrow, and if safety's a concern, we don't have sidewalks, there's no room for them, I guess, I would make it one-way. That's my input. But I'm not going to be opposed to speed bumps. Let's give it a go, give it a try, but it's just so narrow. I'd make it one-way. I would. That's what I'd do.
Stuart, you had a follow-up question?
Sure. I think, Joan, you had mentioned, or Lou, that the 10-mile-an-hour speed limit, it's a recommendation?
It's an advisory.
Oh, it's an
It's an
advisory.
advisory sign,
What would the normal speed
likely
limit?
settled 30 miles an hour.
Oh,
It used to
hence
say,
the speed bumps, okay.
it used to say 15. And it's
I thought it
down,
says 15 too.
and the sign was bent for a long time, and now it's 10. Who made the decision? Is that the police department that puts that up?
That was, no, it was not.
Traffic Safety Committee instructed the DPW to do it? Because I don't recall it ever coming before this board on the 10-mile-per-hour sign.
I don't have my records with me.
Yeah, I don't
I
recall.
have to check that.
Okay. I'll open it up for public comment. Mr. Phillips first. Come to the podium.
Brian Phillips, 374 Orleans Road. I've actually done a little investigating on this. I went down and talked to the Chalkers, Jamie and Donnie Chalker. Can you guys hear me? A little closer? All right, and it's not volume, it's speed. And I think a lot of it is employees that work in that parking lot over there are speeding to work, because it's people that know the roads and are able, are feel comfortable speeding on it. So it's definitely the speed is the issue, not necessarily the volume. Maybe it's the volume of like the pedestrians and the bicyclists that make it dangerous. I mean, I'm against speed bumps, but something definitely needs to be done. So it's a 30-mile-an-hour zone down there?
Well, everything's 30 miles unless otherwise posted in town. That's the state law.
Okay, so you guys couldn't even really give speeding tickets out? You guys haven't given any speeding tickets out down there? We have not. Okay, it's kind of tough to get up to 30 on that road to give out speeding tickets. But there are people driving too fast down that road, and I mean, speed bumps might not be a terrible idea for like a temporary solution. And Donnie's request was that it be the ones that are, a little more forgiving, and not the ones that are, kind of like that. You know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. So, I mean, it's a tough situation because it's pretty much employees speeding down that road.
Thank you. Anyone else? You, sir. And then Rob after.
Hi, good evening. Thank you. My name is Steve Principe. I'm a resident. I live at 49 Cross Street, so I'm the home on the corner of Kent and Cross. My family, I'm a father of 4 children. My wife and I have been leading the effort for the last several years about this issue. I would wholeheartedly agree with the previous speaker that speed is a factor. I certainly understand that the measurements last Labor Day maybe indicated that the average was 16, but of 800 cars, that still leaves quite a few cars going north of 16. We sit there all day, we watch this, our neighbors watch this. There's a lot of kids that live on the street, as mentioned before. It is a walk-through. Lots of families walk through, renters, residents, et cetera, going to Emack and Bolio's, which is right there at the end of the road. Unequivocally, it appears to us, because we pay attention all day, it is used as a cut-through. People that primarily work, I think, at the Squire and other establishments, avoiding the traffic on Main Street. They understand they can cut through. They go ripping down that street fast. Trucks do it. Delivery trucks are doing it all the time. It's a real concern. I have been fearful for years, which is why we've brought this in before the Traffic Safety Committee several times, that it's going to result in an accident. I understand speed bumps aren't perfect, but to try it and let us observe and see if it actually helps slow people down or maybe even deter some of the traffic elsewhere, we think would be hugely helpful. Trying to think what else we covered. I think that's effectively it. The one-way street, I guess I would just add, this came up. We were pushing primarily to see if it can be converted into a dead end, which our understanding was it was a long time ago. The problem with the one-way street exiting from the municipal lot is that we, number one, believe it would drive higher volume, right, coming down the street one way. Also, it's completely unfair to the residents who live there, who have driveway access, who would then have to travel through a packed municipal lot in order to get to and from their homes. So it would require all of us to then sit in the municipal lot with all the tourists trying to find parking just to get to our homes. So we all felt that wasn't really a fair solution to us and too punitive. So our ask is to let us try this, whether it's the speed bump or a hump. We think it could be effective. And again, this is all about the safety of our kids and the residents, so we appreciate your consideration.
Let me ask you a question, sir.
Yes.
So what if you had a lower speed limit and the speed limit were officially endorsed and and tickets started to be issued to speeders? Do you think that would help address the speed issues?
That's a great question. I don't know. I think that it's said 10 to 15 miles per hour for quite a while.
Yeah,
And people are still driving at that speed. So
Yeah.
it appears to me that no one's really concerned about
Well,
that.
the problem is that's a recommended
Yeah.
limit, and we would have to, and we have the authority, I believe, under the state law to declare a particular street to be at a lesser speed limit. The standard speed limit, as we said, is 30 miles per hour on every street in Chatham. But if we did declare it 10 miles per hour or 15 miles per hour, and the chief is here, he can speak to it, we could enforce that and start issuing some tickets. And I mean, that's another approach. I just wondered if that had been considered by maybe the Traffic Safety Committee as one of the options. But thank you for
Thank
coming
you.
forward.
I appreciate it.
Rob Faley, the DPW Director. Is the fire chief on?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So Deputy Chief Malzone and I work closely with the Traffic and Safety Committee on a number of different issues. I have to respectfully disagree with this proposal. I think the committee wrote in their letter that they feel that this should not set a precedent in town, meaning speed bumps. But since the announcement of this hearing, we've already had 2 additional requests for speed bumps in other areas of town. What I'm trying to prevent is having DPW staff spend all spring putting out speed bumps and spend all fall picking up speed bumps because they have to be removed for winter for plowing and snow removal. The temporary speed bumps are anchored into the pavement using either spikes or lag bolts. So when they're removed, there are holes in the pavement. Wintertime, water infiltrates there. The water expands when it freezes. It pops the pavement, so it ends up with an early deterioration of the pavement structure. We shot some profiles down Kent Place to see if maybe speed tables or speed humps were something that could be used. Those are what you see typically. I think West Barnstable has them on Route 6A. They're kind of like a plateau, like a permanent pavement speed bump with like a plateau on it. It would create a lot of drainage issues on Kent Place, so it wasn't something that would be like readily handled. We'd have to install catch basins and things because it would create some ponding issues. So I think that's a better solution if we were going to do something, but I think it's a much larger cost involved, a much larger effort involved. So I'm against the temporary speed bumps.
Thank you. Any other members of the public in the audience or online? So I have a few questions. Chief, am I correct in saying that that the board could adopt a lesser speed limit and that could be enforced with ticketing?
I'd have to do some research. I'm not
Okay.
sure what the authority is.
We couldn't do that tonight anyway,
Right.
because we'd have to have a public hearing on it.
I'd have to do some research. But I just wanted to clarify and be clear that anytime we gather data using a piece of technology, and whether it be Kent Place or anywhere in town, fortunately, we've seen that the average motorist is traveling the speed limit or less. That doesn't mean that I will stand in front of you and say there's not a speeding problem, because if
Yeah.
someone's doing 40 and a 30, that could be a problem, that could raise concern. So I'm just talking about this unique issue that, I won't stand in front of anybody and say that there's not people who go fast down that road. There's just a lot of people who travel that road. And just by the data that we had that volume was,
I also think
Aye.
if you should one-way it or close off the so-called dead end of it, wouldn't that impede the fire department's ability to drive vehicles through if there were an emergency downtown and they couldn't get through Main Street? Is that?
Part of that area is privately owned by the business,
Right.
so it's my understanding we would not have the right to do that.
Yeah, but I think in an emergency they can.
The other thing that I would point out is the average person going down that street sees a low speed limit posted right now, and it really doesn't matter.
It's posted at one end only. Is it posted at the other end?
I believe it's only the cross street. And
Just on the cross street end, it's not posted on the other side. I have a couple of other questions. I don't like speed bumps. Is this Joan mentions some speed bumps at the beaches. Do we have any speed bumps on any other road in town?
Just private roads, as far as I'm,
Those are put there by the owners of those roads.
because they have
Not-
associations.
But there are no municipal speed bumps.
Not that I'm aware of.
I do think it would set a precedent. Anything sets a precedent in this town, Rob just said. I don't like it aesthetically. I don't think this is the solution. I live in the general neighborhood. I would rather see us pursue, and I appreciate the neighbors' concerns about speed and the concerns that have been expressed about volume, which the committee has looked at. But I just think it gives, aesthetically, it's terribly displeasing to me. It's a citified look. And we have enough of that already going on in this town. I could mention some areas that concern me, but I won't. So I'm not going to support this. And I would suggest that the Traffic Safety Committee, if it wants to continue addressing this issue, which I think is a legitimate one, consider a reduction in the speed limit and presenting that to the Select Board for adoption. But I'm going to be a no vote on this one.
Mr. Chair,
Shereen.
because I'm concerned about the safety issues that, having used that road and seen pedestrians on the road and not enough room to navigate cars, and I got a little car, but, bigger trucks and whatnot. What would be the harm in doing the temporary speed bumps, for the interim, and then, have Rob come back with a recommendation on the different version, like the feasibility of it, and then the cost of what that would be, as one of the solutions. I don't think, I'm not, there's a signpost that says, recommended 10, nobody's looking at it. And if we're not, people aren't looking at speed signs anymore, it seems, or we have to have flashing speed signs now everywhere so that they will pay attention to their speed. So it's just it's a neighborhood in the middle of a really busy town center, and I think these neighbors have deal with a lot of issues with being in that area, and I think safety is the concern that I see here.
Well, to your initial question, I obviously if the board wants to proceed in that direction, it can. I just think it sets a precedent. But there are a lot of safety issues. I was crossing the crosswalk. I was in the middle of the crosswalk at the Rotary this afternoon, 2 hours ago, and some woman is driving a car, Massachusetts plate, and just drove right through the crosswalk when I was halfway through.
So that's my point exactly, that road is
This time of year, there's safety
that
issues
way.
all over town, and unless you have a police officer on every street corner, we're going to have to deal with these things.
But we have a neighborhood that is wanting to deal with it, and I'm just trying to respect that
No,
process.
I understand, I respect your position on it. Jeff, did you have something?
Yeah, no, I echo, I'm paying attention to the resident that spoke, both on the one-way, which was not a great idea, because you're right, the residents would have to go through the parking lot all the time. So that fact in and of itself throws a lot of cold water on my one-way notion. But I'm also willing to give it a try. I'm giving it maybe in the summertime and in the fall, and then remove them in the winter. So, I don't know. But I'm willing to give it a try. It's something, if there is a speed issue, and I hear there is a speed issue by the resident, then I think I'm willing to give it a try, and on a temporary basis. Thanks.
Corey?
I'm very sympathetic to the neighbors, but I mean, let's be crystal clear. This is not isolated to this area. I mean, unfortunately, the driving behavior in the community for many people is atrocious. I mean, you can see that downtown, you can see it outside of town. It is not isolated into one street. I struggle a little bit because we rely on our staff for recommendations. If we do these temporary speed bumps, are we impacting the roadway that all the taxpayers are going to have to deal with at some point? If I understood correctly, there may be another more permanent remedy, which may or may not be supported, but if that were an option, is it better to pursue that? Because I do think other people are going to be looking for this. I truthfully do. And if it's a better, more stable process to do that, do we get that ironed out? With the expectation, there's going to be more roadways that are going to be asking for this, which rightfully so.
If I may, that very question came up at our last meeting when we discussed this, and Rob did a phenomenal job of really drafting a printout for us to look at it, what would have to happen in order to do the speed humps, which are the ones that he mentioned that are not the small mounds, they're a little more constructed. And it would require, as he said, some issues with regards to water runoff. And budget-wise, right now, was one of the reasons why it's not in the budget. It would be costly, and that's why it was presented to the committee at that time to consider a temporary fix, see if it works, and then reconsider. So that's why we brought that before you.
All right, thank you.
Anyone else from the board? There is someone online, AP. Who is that? AP?
Hi. Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, please identify yourself.
Hi. Yeah, so my name's Adrienne Principe. I am the wife of Steve, who just spoke.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to ask, I wanted to make one comment. I realize that safety is a concern all over town, and we live in town, so we walk a lot. We walk to the baseball games, and we walk out to Lighthouse Beach and all around town. And I will say that the fact that the road is so narrow and so many people walk down this road, there is no sidewalk, I do feel like that we should, as a community, be prioritizing safety over aesthetics. And the fact that the speed bumps don't look nice shouldn't be the reason why we choose not to install them. So I would just, ask the committee to consider the safety piece. We would prefer that we call this the lane, right? All the residents call it the lane because it is a really small roadway. And I would encourage if the speed bumps aren't passed, that is not our first choice. Our first choice would be to make the road a dead end. And if the road is, even though the lot is privately owned, the road is public. So I would think that there would be a way to block the end of the lane as it was previously blocked in years past. So those are just the two comments that I wanted to make. I'm sorry I couldn't get my hand up sooner.
That's all right. Thank you very much. Anyone? Thank you. Anyone else from the public? Yes, sir.
My name is Peter Gaines, and I'm here actually on an entirely different issue. But listening to the discussion, if you enter Kent Place from Cross Street, and at the end where the last house is before you get to the Chatham Sign Company, if at that point, if that's privately owned, isn't Kent Place basically tantamount to being a dead end anyway? And why not make it official? It's just listening to the conversation.
I think it is, but I think what we're hearing is that, well, people are going to come through the parking lot, try to come through that parking lot.
But I guess the question for Joan would be with the numbers that she gave of 800 and something cars, I don't remember what the number was, do they know which way they were going? In other words, was the majority coming from Cross Street to the parking lot, or was it coming from Main Street to Cross Street?
Chief, do you?
Just as an observer.
No, I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Peter. Chief, do you have any response to that?
I can comment on that, and again, I apologize for using almost year-old data, but 643 vehicles came from Cross Street, 218 came from either the parking lot or the upper lot.
Is that over the period of 3 days or just 1 day?
No, that was over, that was from August 25th to September 4th of '24.
August 25th through September 5th?
4th,
Okay. So it wasn't,
about a week.
yeah.
And that was the end of the summer.
Oh, okay. All right, thank you.
You know? And again, I was hoping to have
No, that's fine.
data from
Thanks,
this
Chief.
week, but I don't.
Thank you, Joan. Thanks, Chief. All right, it's in front of the board, whatever, someone wants to offer a motion or not. Corey?
So just for clarification, if there is a sense to pursue more about making it a dead-end street or blocking it, what is the next process? Because
I should think if the board is inclined to, in response to your question, not grant this, not approve the speed bumps, we would direct the Public Works Department, working with the Police Department, to come up with a proposal to dead-end it or one-way it, if that's the direction. Do we have to have a public hearing on that? I guess we do.
Yes.
We would have to have
Well,
another
it's
public
my
hearing.
understanding it was a dead end at one point in time, and if, even though it's 1-year-old data, it looks like 75% of the vehicles that were in the report are coming from Cross Street in, which would suggest, people coming in for one reason or,
It's going to be worse this year. It gets worse every year.
If we're really trying to fix it, and the dead end is a better Band-Aid, not a Band-Aid, a better solution than the speed bumps, if that's truly how it's going to save the safety, create a more safe issue, I think we would pursue that better. That's just my thoughts.
Well, that's something this board could decide to want to pursue tonight in lieu of, as an alternative to the main proposal. Shireen?
I'd like to propose a two-part proposal then on the motion to move to place the 2 temporary speed bumps at Kent Place during peak times, May through October, placed at the direction of the Department of Public Works, and direct the Police Department and the Department of Public Works to pursue the feasibility of creating a dead end on that road. Because it will satisfy the safety concerns of the neighbors. That's the rationale I'm looking at. And gives some time for the town to address it in the manner that it feels is a better way. This is a safety issue here. I'm just feeling a very strong sense about this.
I appreciate that. You haven't proposed that yet as a motion, but could I?
I did.
Before you do?
I did. I moved.
And I'll second it.
Could I ask if you would be willing to split the motion into 2 motions? Because I'm inclined to support one piece and not the
I
other.
know you are.
It's your call. But
If you're going to,
Stuart.
yeah, fine. We'll split it into 2 different motions.
Whichever way we go, we may want to address the official speed limit at the same time, so we get it to be 10 miles an hour and officially posted on both
yes,
ends.
well, we'd have to have a public hearing.
Right, I understand that. I'm suggesting that for.
Thank you. Well, Shireen has offered to split the motion. Can you?
I'd second it, and you have somebody out here.
Yes, ma'am.
Hi, I'm Diane Rollings, and I'm also on the Traffic Safety Committee. When we were thinking about the dead end, my big concern is that is going to put every single delivery truck onto Main Street. And so I think by doing that, you're moving the safety concern from Kent Place to the safety concern of Main Street, because now you've got delivery trucks trying to maneuver down Main Street. That was just something that we definitely discussed was if we did do the dead end.
Maybe there's a bigger picture here for that area, which includes the delivery times of day issues and all that, which is a bigger, like a bigger master plan for the neighborhood.
Frankly, that comment causes me to reconsider whether I want to support that particular motion. I mean, we had the parking solution working group looking at the whole area, but we didn't really focus on Kent Place. But you start putting more delivery trucks on Main Street, so. Anyway, we have 2 motions, I guess, on the table. We'll take them one by one. The first one is to dead end it. Is that it?
No.
To have 2 speed bumps, temporary speed bumps, May to October.
Okay, that's the first one. So I'll call, it's been moved and seconded. I'll call the roll. Ms. Davis?
Aye.
Mr. Dykens?
Aye.
Mr. Metters?
Nay.
Mr. Smith?
Nay.
And the chair votes no. So it fails 2-3. The next motion is to dead end, investigate the dead ending of Kent Place. Moved and seconded. Ms. Davis.
Aye.
Mr. Dykens. Mr. Metters. Mr. Smith.
Aye.
And the chair votes aye. So that would be referred to whom? DPW and the police department? Refer to the town manager
Refer to the town manager and I'll.
for
I'll send
appropriate
it on
assignment.
behalf.
Now, Stuart, you had proposed considering reducing the speed limit officially to 10 miles per hour.
Yes, and post it properly and have it on an
Okay.
agenda.
Is there a sentiment on the board? Do we have to take a vote? We'll have a public hearing on that. We'll refer that to I guess we would refer that to the Traffic Safety Committee first?
I wasn't going to, but
Okay, we'll just bring it here. You can weigh in at your pleasure.
No, my question was, is there any kind of a time limit that could be set on this second motion that passed? And the reason I ask that is this has been going on since the summer of 2022.
I mean, I can work with staff to get something prepared as soon as possible, but I don't know if it's going to be for the next meeting or the meeting after that.
Thank you.
We have a huge agenda for our next meeting,
Thank you.
so we'll do what we can.
Can I do an agenda item request, please?
Yes.
To have the traffic study look at delivery times of days for trucks going in and out of town, especially in the area around the midsection of town where the restaurants are, and near Kent Place.
Do we need to formally take that up at the board first, or will the Traffic Safety Committee look at it on our suggestion
I'm
tonight?
pretty sure you guys could look at it,
You're
right?
asking us again to look at,
Delivery trucks, scheduled delivery times in downtown.
I'm just not sure that's part of our,
Then that would be something, either the parking solution or the select
Well,
board.
the parking solution group is effectively going to be dissolved because
Okay.
we've done the report, but probably the board
Agenda item
or...
request for us to discuss.
Okay, we'll
I
put...
mean, I don't want to,
No, that's fine. We're just awaiting the final report. We voted a final report, Jeff and I, and we're waiting for it to be written up, and it's going to come to the board, I hope in September, because there are some recommendations I'd like to see the board consider. But what we'll do is we'll put it on this board's agenda for discussion. We'll have the appropriate departments
yeah. Okay.
available.
Thank you.
I think the Chamber and the Merchants Association would be very interested in that.
Absolutely.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, we'll make sure they're notified. So back to Stuart's question about the speed limit. And we'll schedule a public hearing.
sure. It seems to me
For a
it's,
10-mile-per-hour speed limit?
Yes.
Is there consensus on wanting to pursue that?
Yes.
Okay, so I won't take a vote on that. We'll put that, and as a parallel to that, we'll put it on as soon as we can. The Traffic Safety Committee should probably take a look at it and give us their own recommendation on that. Okay, Joan?
thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Next, we have a public hearing to consider a new annual entertainment license for Hey Joe and Jam, 16 Sequoia Road, West Chatham. This has been continued from July 22nd, 2025. And Dre Tui is online. Yes, so you're looking for an annual entertainment license for your establishment, and
Gotta read the notice.
no, because we did.
Oh, we did.
And so there were some issues last time I think you weren't able to, there were some issues last time as to the days and times when this entertainment would take place, and we might have some questions. So welcome, and could you elaborate a little bit on your application?
Yes, absolutely. My name's Dre Towie. I'm the owner of Hey Joe and Jam at 16 Sequoia Road. We're a coffee house. We opened a few weeks ago. We have a little stage in the coffee house, and we hope to have some acoustic music coming through there, mostly during the morning. We're open 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. It'd be probably 1 to 3 people playing for approximately 90 minutes, starting off 2 to 3 times a week. And most likely between the hours of 9 and 11, and sometimes outside on our front porch. Down the road, I'd like to open it up once a month for nighttime singer-songwriter acts, acoustic, or open mic, and maybe after school for kids to do open mic.
Would this be every day of the week?
Music every day?
Yeah. The entertainment license is what's before us right now.
No, I don't think it will be every day. It would most likely, I don't have the budget to do it every day. I think it'd
Yeah,
be
so I
something like-
think we need to know specifically which days and which times for the activity that you're looking to permit.
Weekends, so it's like Sunday jazz, an acoustic singer, songwriter, Saturday mornings, once on a Wednesday. I'm just putting that out there if you need exact times.
So you're saying 9 to 11? 9
Mhm.
a.m. to 11 a.m.?
Yes.
All the music you're talking about, except for, I think you said you wanted to have a jazz evening once a month? Is that what you said? But that would be the exception from the 9 to 11? Because usually when we get an application, it's very specific and particular about what times and so forth, and we're trying to extract that information right now from you.
Well, I mean, would it make it easier if I said every day? Because I don't think it would be consistently, I don't know if it would be consistent.
Okay.
If I had said Saturdays, Sundays. Let's say every day, 9 to 11, and once a month from 7 to 9 p.m.
Okay. And this is this amplified music? It says amplification, it's checked, so. Are there any questions of the applicant from the board?
I
Yes.
think I do. Dre, just a quick question. The porch you're speaking of is the front porch that faces Main Street? And that's where
Correct.
you propose to have musicians, and then people would be like out on the lawn or out in the front of it? Okay, all right, thank you.
I'll throw it open to the public, and I do have a letter from a member of the community. Mr. Phillips.
Brian Phillips, 374 Orleans Road. I've been down there. It's a great shop. It's a great venue for, these kind of small little jazz or, string quartets or whatever they're going to have down there. I definitely support this, and, I think you should give her kind of free range to do, whatever she wants within her operation, because it's not going to be like a loud rock concert. It's going to be, it's going to be a small venue. We really got to do things to support our local businesses, and this, I think, would be a great opportunity for them. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else here in person or online? Okay, we received a communication from Mr. David Bixby, and I'm going to read the letter. Chatham Select Board, these are comments for the August 5th public hearing for an entertainment license for Hey Joe and Jem. I am not opposed to the granting of the license at this time. I have received indirect assurances that the proprietors are sensitive to the community concerns over noise intrusion into adjacent residential neighborhoods. I hope the board shares those concerns. However, I remind you that the board approved a similar license for the Dogfish Taco Restaurant without a clear understanding of both the town's own noise control bylaw and applicable state law. I've written the board on this issue previously, see attached. The biggest problems occur when music is electronically amplified. In your discussions with Hey Joe, I hope you will emphasize that amplification of music will predictably lead to conflict. Thank you, David Bixby. He does attach a prior communication, but I'm not going to read the attachment, but he does reference the town noise bylaw, and which exempts, for historical reasons which I don't understand, liquor establishments, but this is not a liquor establishment. There is a similar noise bylaw in the liquor regulations. So I wanted to get that into the record. Any further comments from the board? So as I understand it, we have a request for the entertainment license which does include amplification, every day from 9 to 11. Is this year-round, Dre?
Yes, it is. Not
And
every day, actually, closed Tuesdays.
okay. And one time a month, 7 to 9 p.m., and including on the porch externally. We are informed that you haven't yet been issued an occupancy permit from the Community Development Department because there hasn't been a final request for inspection. Is that, what's the status of that?
We are actually, I have requested an inspection. It's a gas inspection for our convection oven. They've put in the request, and I thought they were going to come today, but maybe it's Thursday. And then I had to evict a tenant because apparently my apartment's not an apartment. So she's out. So everything's
Okay.
happening.
And when the occupancy permit is issued, we're informed that it's set at 15 until the Select Board, upon recommendation from the Water and Sewer Committee, approve an increase in sewer flow. Did we ought to approve that conditionally? I thought we did that. Does anyone remember? We had a discussion of that.
No, you'll have a public hearing on
We'll
that?
have to have a public hearing to go beyond 15 seats once you get the occupancy permit.
I know it was recommended by Town Sewer that.
Yeah, they did.
Approved
Kathy,
by them.
our town executive assistant, Kathy, what's the status? Do you recall?
Yes, so I received the request for additional sewer flow from the Water and Sewer Department. I was on Monday, and I'm in the process of scheduling the public hearing. So once that is approved by the Select Board as Water and Sewer Commissioners, then additional the occupancy could raise, could be increased.
Okay.
So that is
All right.
in process.
So that's another hurdle to, I should say hurdle, but it's another complication that has to be addressed. But anyway, we have before us the amplification, I'm sorry, the entertainment license. Is there a motion, or does the board want to take action? Corey Metters.
No, just one question I just want to throw out there, more for mechanical. 9/11 a.m. daily, that's fine. 7 to 9 once a month. Do we want to get a little more specific? Is that 7 days a week? I just want to make sure it's crystal clear that what we're offering or what we're approving is in compliance, so that there's no questions down the road.
I think the application is for 7 days a week, although they're closed one day at their own.
Well, that's all, but they're allowed to. I want to make sure that it's crystal clear what we're saying.
Yes, we would be allowing 7 to 9 a.m. and one time, 7 days a week and one time a month. I guess they can choose whatever day they want.
7 to 9 p.m.
Yeah,
at their
7 to 9
discretion.
p.m.
That's fine.
All right.
I'd make a motion to approve those dates and times.
Motion made and seconded. I will call the roll. Ms. Davis.
Aye.
Mr. Dykens.
Aye.
Mr. Metters.
Aye.
Mr. Smith.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Thank you. Good luck. You have it. Next item is public comments on the business agenda, and let me review the business agenda. First, there's a request to use town property for a one-day entertainment permit from the Monomoy Yacht Club for the Monomoy Yacht Club Beach Party at Hardings Beach. Next, the annual turkey trot, use of town roads, various permits. Next, consider entering into a Commonwealth Site Readiness Program Technical Assistance Grant Agreement for $175,000 for the design and engineering of the access roadway for affordable and attainable housing development at Zero Meeting House Road. And as I indicated, I will accept contemporaneous public comment on that one. We have some committee appointments, but we generally do not accept public comment on those. So is there any public comment on the business agenda? All right, seeing none, the next item on the agenda is to consider the request for the use of town property and a one-day entertainment permit for the annual Monomoy Yacht Club Beach Party at Hardings Beach in the first parking lot, September 3rd, 2025, Monomoy Yacht Club. And we have Mr. Gaines and Mr. Potts, I'm sorry. Please come forward.
Thank you and good afternoon. I'm Peter Gaines and I'm Commodore of the Monomoy Yacht Club. And this is David Potts, and he is chairperson of our beach party committee. And we're here, as you said, to address our application to hold our annual beach party at Hardings Beach. Each year for the past 23 years, The Monomoy Yacht Club has held their annual end of summer beach party at Hardings Beach. We intentionally scheduled this party for the Wednesday after Labor Day in order to be less intrusive of the large crowds that gather on the beach in the summer. The beach party is the yacht club's most popular event of the year. Last year, we attracted close to 200 people. I'm not sure of an exact number, but close to 200 people. In the past, we've sent in our application to Parks and Rec, and after careful review, we've received approval. No one on our board can remember ever having to go before the select board in person, in addition to our meeting with Parks and Rec. We realize that the rules change, but we're not aware of any major changes from prior years. We also noticed that this year, if approved, there is a $175 charge for cleaning the restrooms. If our application is approved, we are there for a total of about 3 hours, and I can't imagine that our use of the restrooms is any more than any other random sample of 175 people who happen to be on the beach. But nonetheless, if approved, we're happy to pay the $175 restroom cleaning fee. Our crew gathers at 8:30 in the morning. We cordon off, and this is in the past, we cordon off 76 parking spaces, which is exactly half of the available spaces in the first parking lot at Hardings Beach. We set up our food areas in about 12 of those spaces in the first row of the cordoned off section. By background, we believe that the Monomoy Yacht Club, well, first of all, the Monomoy Yacht Club has been in existence for 87 years. We're members of the Chamber of Commerce. We sponsor the annual Harbor Update. We participate in the Art in the Park, the July 4th Parade. Our members are on committees and boards throughout the town. One of our members serves on the Finance Committee, and other members of our yacht club serve on the Historical Commission, the Cemetery Commission, the Board of Health, the Waterways Advisory Commission, the Shellfish Advisory Commission, the Friends of Eldridge Library, the Marconi Museum, the Atwood Museum, the Chatham Conservation Foundation, and there are 23 members of the Monomoy Yacht Club who serve on the First Night Committee. So we believe that we're excellent stewards of the town. And while all of that has nothing to do with our application, it should tell the Select Board who we are as a club. When David and I met with the Park and Rec Committee some time ago, they mentioned there were some comments about our past use of firing off a cannon to begin our festivities. When I brought this up to our Board of Governors at our last meeting, no one who serves on our Board of Governors today or any of our past Commodores can remember how that tradition began. However, we are voluntarily willing to can the cannon. That won't be an issue this year. At the time that we met with Park and Rec, at our meeting, they approved our application. However, we're aware that subsequent to that, and I don't know when their subsequent meeting was, but subsequent to that, they've approved our application with the exception that not approving the reserved 76 spaces, which are really essential. We have our own waste barrels that we bring. We remove our own trash at the end of the party. About 90% of our members are Chatham residents and taxpayers. We are mostly senior citizens who are about the least rowdy crowd one can imagine. We're asking the Select Board to approve our application for use of Hardings Beach and a small portion of the first parking lot for our annual beach party on September 3rd. And David and I will be happy to answer any questions from the Select Board.
Thank you, sir. I just wanted to address the parking question because what you're before this board for is a license to have amplified outdoor music and use the beach, the first beach, that I question whether the select board has control over the parking lot. Isn't that the Parks and Recreation Commission, or do we?
No, you have control over all town facilities.
So we could overrule the Park and Recreation Board's position on the reserving of 75 parking spaces if we wanted.
Would it be okay if I, pardon me?
Sure.
Share a photo
Yeah,
of
please.
what we've done in the past.
Yeah.
And
You have to speak at a microphone if to be heard.
Mr. Chair, I have a clarifying question for Mr. Gaines. Okay.
Go ahead.
Is this, Peter, hi.
Hi.
You block this off for your food only. Is that, and for the safety of the attendees, or what is the
No.
actual need for this?
Given the fact that we have, let's say, 175 or 200 people.
Sure.
And as I said, most of our members are senior citizens. Many of our members have some mobility issues. So traditionally, we've blocked it off in order to allow our members to park there. They usually arrive, the crew that puts this all together, they arrive earlier in the day. But the majority or most of our attendees then arrive right about 3 o'clock. And while there is certainly the possibility that members could park at the second parking lot and walk back, and those who are able, we would certainly be willing to say, why don't you drop off somebody at the first parking lot and go park your car at the second parking lot. There are many members of our club who attend who have some significant mobility issues, and it's the reason why we ask that in addition to, primarily for that reason, but also as a convenience to our members. That's where we gather, and the reason for the cordoning off is for our members to park there.
Any consideration for valet?
Well, yes, we thought about that. The problem we see with that, I mean, we could do it. The problem we see with that is the valets that we're familiar with hold 6 or 9 people. And our party starts at 3 o'clock, which means that people start arriving, 200 people start arriving at 3 o'clock. We think it's impractical, not impossible, but we think it's impractical to run a valet back and forth from the first to second parking lot. We would entertain it, but we see it as impractical.
If this board didn't approve the parking spaces, what would you do?
If this were not approved for the parking spaces? Well, that's a very good question. It would impact our ability to hold our beach party the way we have had in the past. But speaking quite frankly, I think if this were not approved, I think what's entirely possible is we'd have to tell our members that we're still having our beach party, hopefully, but we can't cordon off, we can't reserve 76 parking spots. And I guess I would leave it up to our members to decide how to solve that problem, which means perhaps some of them might arrive with 2 cars, park there at 10 o'clock in the morning, drive home, and then come back at 3 o'clock. So without actually technically cordoning it off, our members are creative, and that might be what they would choose to do. But I can't speak for that.
Thank you. Can I just follow up to Shireen? So what you handed out shows marked in red. I don't think anybody can see it really, but the section you would cordon off. Now, you've cordoned that off in the past?
We have. I've been a member of the club for 10 years, and I've attended, I think one of the years that I've been a member of the club, it was rained out, so we had to cancel. But I believe every other year, this is exactly what we've done.
And you've never had any objection to that from the Parks and Recreation Commission in the past? This is the first year this has come up?
Not as far as I know.
Okay, thank you. Jeff?
In fact, this is the first year they've come to us for permission, and they've done this for 23 years, and I'm very much in favor of allowing them to continue to do so.
Okay, thank you. Any other comment? Corey?
Question, how many, do anyone know how many spaces are actually in the parking lot? Is it 76 spaces, about 50%?
I counted them, Corey. The front lot has 150, so we'd be taking roughly half.
Yeah.
The back lot, I think, has 315. The back lot is really, really big.
And this is on September 3rd.
It is September 3rd, the Wednesday after Labor Day.
Jeff?
Wednesday after Labor Day, it's post-Labor Day, plus it's 3 in the afternoon. So I would like to make a motion to approve their application. Thank you.
I'll second that.
Okay, it's been moved and approved. Any discussion on the motion? Ms. Davis?
Aye.
Mr. Dykens?
Aye.
Mr. Metters?
Aye.
Mr. Smith?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Good luck. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Is Coca-Cola still a member?
Excuse me?
Is Coca-Cola still a member?
Interesting enough, even though they've moved down to, I think, Virginia, they've retained their membership, and they do come back for several events during the year.
Good.
And we're happy to have them.
We want to give him a convenient parking space.
Yes, he doesn't get to park in one of the cordoned-off spaces.
I'll pass that along to
All
them.
right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next, we have consider the use of town roads, use of town property, sale of goods on town property, and one-day entertainment permit. Chatham Turkey Trot, November 26th and 27, 2025, the Lower Cape Outreach Council, and we have Katie Webby, online. Could you please, welcome and please speak to this.
Thank you. Katie Wibby, I'm the Chief Executive Officer for the Lower Cape Outreach Council. I do apologize for not being able to join you in person today, where I would prefer to be. But we are requesting permission to use as the Oyster Pond parking lot for our annual turkey trot, which takes place on Thanksgiving, November 27th. And then I have previously been in front of the Park and Recs Committee to request permission to use the community building the day before for pre-registration pickup. I don't anticipate any changes from previous years. Well, I should say no changes from last year for this year's race.
Corey?
Just clarification, did you say November 27th or November 26th? Because in our memo was the 26th, and in the permission to use application, it says the 26th.
I think there were a couple of things going on.
I just want to make sure we get the right date.
Yeah, I apologize. And in my original application, I did make some handwritten errors. The race, the Chatham Turkey Trot, is actually on Thanksgiving, which is November 27th. The pre-registration pickup for bibs and T-shirts is at the community center on the 26th, which is the Wednesday afternoon beforehand.
Yeah, I was going to suggest, looking at the memo, we would amend the second motion to reflect that the use of town roads and the outdoor display, it would be the use of the property, the outdoor display and sale of goods in town property would be at Oyster Pond Beach and parking lot. Is that correct? The outdoor display.
That's correct.
Yeah, you're going to sell goods.
That's correct.
You're going to sell things at the parking lot at Oyster Park. And you have a tent set up and take down on the starting on the 26th and ending on the 28th. So I would add those to the motion. I'm happy to read that later. But any discussion or conversation about this? Questions? Someone want to offer the first motion?
Mr. Chairman, I move to grant Katie Wibby of the Lower Cape Outreach Council the use of town property at 702 Main Street, Chatham, and the sale of goods on town property on Wednesday, November 26, 2025, from 1 to 7 p.m., which includes setup and cleanup.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right, we'll call the roll. Ms. Davis?
Aye.
Mr. Dykens?
Aye.
Mr. Metters?
Aye.
Mr. Smith?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. I'll offer the second motion because I did write some words here. I move to grant Kate Wibby of the Lower Cape Outreach Council the use of town roads, the outdoor display and sale of goods on town property at Oyster Pond Beach and parking lot, and a special one-day entertainment license on Thursday, November 27, 2025, from 7 a.m. to 10 a.m., and tent setup and takedown on November 26 - November 28.
Second.
All right, Ms. Davis.
Aye.
Mr. Dykens.
Aye.
Mr. Metters.
Aye.
Mr. Smith.
Aye.
And the chair votes aye. Thank you. Good luck.
Great event. Thank you.
Thank you very
Okay.
much for your continued
Thank you.
support.
Okay, so now we have next agenda item to consider the entering into the Commonwealth Site Readiness Program Technical Assistance Grant Agreement for $175,000 for the design and engineering of the access roadway for affordable and attainable housing development at 0 Meeting House Road. This is one of the Penrose projects, and presenting will be our Housing and Sustainability Director, Gloria McPherson. Welcome, Gloria.
Thank you. Sorry I popped up at the mere mention of my agenda item earlier. I was listening, but obviously not paying attention. Anyway, so way back when I started, almost 3 years ago, we were in the process of purchasing Meeting House Road, and one of the things that struck me immediately about the property was the topography. Knowing that it would be challenging for any developer to, access the buildable upland portion of the site because there's a huge gully. So 2 years ago, we applied for and received a grant award of $175,000 through Mass Development's Site Readiness Program, specifically for the design and engineering of that roadway, which in the grand scheme of things that we were going to do to help leverage the town's contribution to the development of that site would be the first step. The second step after that grant was completed and we had the design and engineering and cost estimating, then we would apply for a MassWorks grant as a way of contributing to the development of the site. So we got the grant really early. I think I grossly underestimated the time it was going to take for us to get to the point where we're ready to develop the site by like 2 years. But here we are. So we're ready to do the design work for the access road for Meeting House Road. We have this grant, and typically the town manager signs off on grant awards for the town of Chatham. This one is a little bit different. It's similar to other mass development grants, including MassWorks, in that when they give money for a public purpose, and in this case the public purpose is the design and engineering, and later the construction of the roadway if we get a MassWorks grant, for the public purpose of affordable housing, the money has to stay with that property. So it's a public purpose, it's public money, the land has to stay owned by the municipality. So our intention is to carve out the access way that's going to be designed and built. Town's going to retain ownership of it. But the format of the grant is such that there's a reimbursement clause just in case something happens where we dispose of the property, and then all of those funds that were put into it, the design, engineering, construction, everything, would then have to be reimbursed to Mass Development. And once that reimbursement clause was in there, this became a different type of agreement. It's essentially a loan agreement because there's the possibility of future repayment, and therefore it requires acceptance by the Select Board to accept the grant and enter into the grant agreement. That said, because we're going to carve out the portion of the property that the grant applies to, there's not going to be a reimbursement in the future. We're not selling that, we're not disposing of it, we're not giving it to the developer. We'll cover the town by having a maintenance agreement for them to manage, maintain it, salt and plow the roadway and things like that. So the town won't have that particular liability, but the town does have to retain ownership of the underlying land. And that's why we're here before you, to get acceptance of the grant.
Thank you, Gloria. I reviewed the document, as I'm sure my colleagues have. I have to say, just as a lawyer, it is one of the best written documents I've ever seen come out of the Commonwealth. So whoever put this together, it was very well written. But I just had 1 or 2 points. The town council has reviewed it. I assume town council approves of the agreement for us to sign?
Correct.
Okay, and part of the right-of-way that you're talking about that would be the subject of this in part, basically this is to design, this is for the design of whatever approach is going to go over that gully that accesses the development. But part of the right-of-way on Meeting House is going to be utilized for access to the abutters, right?
So almost. So correct. So the access is going to go from the right-of-way to the property, across the property. But what we're working on with Penrose right now is abutter driveways individually on their own driveway, on their own properties. And those driveways are going to cross the town's right-of-way, but not in front of the town-owned portion. It's going to be across the right-of-way in front of their individual properties.
Okay, and you have been working with, there were two abutters as far as I know. You have been working with them.
We've been working with both Penrose and the abutters to try to come up with a solution that everyone's happy with, basically giving each of the abutters an individual driveway. Yeah.
Okay, I am personally in favor of approving this agreement, but also encouraging continued consultation with the abutters on those driveway issues, which is not part of this agreement, but we might want to reinforce that either with a vote, separate vote, or just consensus. Anyway, any comments or questions from the board? Shireen?
This has been due diligence on the part of the town, and especially Gloria in her work to do this. So, and Affordable Housing Trust has looked at, some of the issues around the Meeting House Road property, and I'm really excited that this is before us. This is something we can work with, and, I'm very much in favor, so.
Stuart?
Sure. Hello, Gloria. Question, if we weren't to accept the grant or loan, I guess it's both, how would this be funded?
So it would, this grant was baked into the RFP when it was first issued, and it's also referenced in the LDA. So we received this grant even before we crafted the RFP for that property. So right in there was a section called Town Contribution, and the $175,000 was put right out there as something that they could count on from the town. And we also said that we would take the results of that and work with the developer, whoever the developer was at that time, to apply for future grants to actually construct it. So it was understood that this money was available. I think that if you weren't going to approve it, I think that, honestly, it would sort of be a little bit bad faith. And the money would still have to be found because the work still has to be done. So it's possible that, the developer could come back to the town and ask for money that would cover it.
Jill, maybe being a novice at this, is this if we weren't to approve this, how would we come up with where would we come up with $175,000? Would that come out of the Affordable Housing Trust Fund, or would that come out of town funds? I guess they're both town funds, but.
Well, it's town property off the right-of-way. I don't know. My first instinct is to say it would need to be town-funded, possibly town meeting funded, and if that's the case, it would be a free cash appropriation. I don't know, Gloria, if this would qualify under the trust.
So I think with the makeup of the AMI distribution, that it could be trust funds, but it really, so when you get a design and engineering grant and make good on that, and then apply for an actual MassWorks grant for construction, having this grant first puts us in an entirely different category that makes it much more likely that we'll get the funds to actually construct the road. So if we don't do this, then they don't have as much incentive to, continue to support the project that they've already supported. And while $175,000 is, not that much, the trust could easily afford that. I think that the ramifications of not being in quite as strong a position for a MassWorks grant would be a much different scenario. There you're talking more like, I don't know how much it's going to cost to do this, maybe $1 million or something. You're not talking about 100,000. You're talking about, 10 times that much that we would potentially not be as strong in our application.
Who's the they that you were referring to that might not support it?
Mass Development.
Okay. Stuart, any more?
I don't think so, thank you.
Jeff?
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion to enter the grant agreement by and between the town of Chatham and the Mass Development Finance Agency, Mass Development.
Go ahead, make it.
Yeah, for a site readiness grant in the amount of $175,000 for design and engineering services as described in the Meeting House Road Site Readiness Grant Agreement Civil Engineering Scope of Work by Horsley Witten dated April 29, 2025, and to authorize the chair to sign same on behalf of the board. And if there's a second, just have a brief comment.
I will second.
Yeah, and my comment is, Dean, I agree with you. I read the Mass Development agreement. It was very well written. It was an excellent agreement.
Thank you.
And I'm fully in favor of this. This is baked into the LDA. It's an assumption. The money's there, and we'd be absolutely foolish not to take advantage of it. Thanks.
Is there any public comment? Okay, I see none, so I will call the vote on Mr. Dyken's motion that's been seconded by Ms. Davis. Ms. Davis?
Aye.
Mr. Dyken?
Aye.
Mr. Metters?
Aye.
Mr. Smith?
No.
And the chair votes aye, so it's 4-1, it's approved. I wanted to offer a motion that the town staff shall continue to consult with the abutters in developing their access to Meeting House Road. Is that an appropriate? That's not part of this agreement. This is a state agreement, and we don't want to muck
Right,
that
because
up.
that's work not on town-owned property, so it would be a totally separate thing, but highly appropriate.
I second that, Dean.
Okay, any comment on that from the board or the public?
Really supportive.
Gloria Hicks.
Gloria Hicks, Meeting House Road, I'm one of the abutters. So I'm just like a little bit confused. This is specifically about the development, this agreement that you just voted on and approved, correct? Penrose has reached out to me, and obviously Gloria, and I go to every meeting. So is it appropriate for me to just be working with Penrose, or is the town, how is this all supposed to work?
I think, Gloria, do you want to respond to that? Because my understanding is that you've been sort of coordinating the interaction between the abutters and Penrose.
I have been. So part of the RFP and their proposal was specifically to work with the abutters and quote-unquote, improve their access to Meeting House Road. So that was all part of the RFP that was put out. That was part of their proposal. And I've been, I guess, the one coordinating and facilitating it. And I would say advocating for the abutters to make sure that, everything is done well and respectfully, and that their access is indeed improved, which is exactly what we wanted to see.
Yeah, I offered the motion because I just really wanted that process to continue and have the endorsement of the select board.
Okay.
Even though we really don't have, it's a 40B, we really don't have a role on the, on the project itself, but Corey?
Just want to make one comment. I think improvement, to be blunt, show good faith by Penrose is to make fully adequate accommodations with the neighbors. And, I don't want to have the quote-unquote improvement. I want to make sure that's good faith, because anything short of that is going to sour processes moving forward. So I think just want to be very upfront with my position on this. I don't want to have we're making a little improvement. We would due diligence and do right by the neighbors.
We used general language in the RFP because we weren't sure what the design of the driveways would look like. And I think at this point, how many different concept plans were submitted? Like maybe we're on our 6th or something like that?
2 that I would even entertain.
Well,
out of probably, I think, 5.
Yeah, there's a lot of exploration of how to do this. And the terminology was improved, but we're really advocating for what's best for the abutters.
And the Affordable Housing Trust is too. We've been, all along the way, been very mindful of Ms. Hicks' concerns and the other abutters' concerns.
I appreciate that input.
It's important to them too.
No, I appreciate that input. I think generally the town wants to see reasonable steps taken to accommodate the legitimate concerns of the abutters. Gloria has been coordinating it, and we want to see that process continue to a successful resolution. Okay, and we ready to take a vote? I think Mr. Dyken seconded my motion. Somebody did.
Yes.
Shereen did.
Okay.
I did.
So I'll call the roll. Ms. Davis.
Aye.
Mr. Dykens.
Aye.
Mr. Metters.
Aye.
Mr. Smith.
Aye.
And the chair votes aye. Thank you, Gloria. All right. We'll now consider committee appointments. We have several of them. The first is for the Council on Aging Board of Directors. We have one vacancy. We interviewed recently Cindy Kreischer. She was recommended as well, but endorsed by the Chair of the Council on Aging, and I will take a motion as per the memo. There's a revision to the memo. If you have it. No, not this one. Okay, there's no
Mr.
revision.
Chairman, I move to appoint Cindy Kreischer as a member of the Council on Aging Board of Directors until June 30th, 2028, unless sooner revoked or a successor is appointed.
Is there a second?
Second.
Call the roll. Ms. Davis.
Aye.
Mr. Dykens.
Aye.
Mr. Metters.
Aye.
Mr. Smith.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Next is the Cape Cod National Seashore Federal Advisory Commission. There is one seat available for a Chatham representative. This is the main representative. I think our alternate is one of our... is it
Catherine Ricks.
Catherine Ricks. I think we've already approved that. This is for a position that expires on September 20th, 2027. We have interviewed several individuals, John Whalen, Terry Savage, Michael King, and I think Mr. Phillips also, but this was one of the committees he had indicated an interest in. So I'll ask for nominations.
Mr. Chair?
And by the way, this is a nomination to the federal government. They make the appointment. Yes, Mr.
Make a
Metters.
recommendation.
I move to nominate John Whalen as the Chatham representative to the Cape Cod National Seashore Federal Advisory Commission until September 20, 2027.
Is there a second to that nomination?
Second that.
Seconded by Ms. Smith. Any other nominees for this position? Okay, well, Mr. Whalen has been nominated and seconded. I will call the roll on this nomination. Ms. Davis.
Aye.
Mr. Dykens.
Aye.
Mr. Metters.
Aye.
Mr. Smith.
Aye.
And the chair votes aye. So John Whalen is the nominee. We will send that to the Secretary of the Interior, I guess. The next is the Public Ceremonies Committee. We have several vacancies. There are 3 vacant seats. Mr. Franz is on there. I think there is another member of that committee. It's a woman. I can't remember her name. And there are 2 additional candidates. We interviewed Ted Miller today, and we've interviewed Brian Meyer recently. So is there a motion to address Mr. Minor? I said it's Minor, Mr. Minor and Mr. Miller.
Mr. Chairman, I move to appoint Brian Miner and Ted Miller to the Public Ceremonies Committee until June 30th, 2028, unless sooner revoked or a successor is appointed.
Is there a second?
Second.
We'll call the roll. Ms. Davis.
Aye.
Mr. Dykens.
Aye.
Mr. Metters.
Aye.
Mr. Smith.
Aye.
And the chair votes aye. The last position is the Conservation Commission representative to the Community Preservation Committee. This is a position currently held by Karen Latin, and the commission has requested, I believe, that yes, they've nominated her, that she continue to be the representative of the Conservation Commission to the Community Preservation Committee. Is there a motion?
Mr. Chair, I move to appoint Karen Latin as the Conservation Commission's representative to the Community Preservation Committee until June 30th, 2028, unless sooner revoked or successor is appointed.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Ms. Davis.
Aye.
Mr. Dykens.
Aye.
Mr. Metters.
Aye.
Mr. Smith.
Aye.
And the chair votes aye. Okay, that completes the business agenda. The next item on the agenda is to go into executive session under Massachusetts General Laws, Chapter 30A, Section 21, Number 6, to consider the purchase, exchange, lease, or value of real property, parenthesis 31 Meeting House Road, if the chair declares that an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the negotiating position of the body with no return to open session. I'm going to offer this as a motion and read it again. I move that the Select Board go into executive session under Massachusetts General Laws, Chapter 30A, Section 21, Paren 6, to consider the purchase, exchange, lease, or value of real property, parenthesis 31 Meeting House Road, if the chair declares that an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the negotiating position of the body with no return to open session. Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Call the roll. Ms. Davis.
Aye.
Mr. Dykens.
Aye.
Mr. Metters.
Aye.
Mr. Smith.
Aye.
And the chair votes aye. So we are going to into executive session. We will not return to open session. Good night, Chatham. Thank you.